there is one program that people very often ask us about because it seems relatively easy, relatively affordable, and it's almost like a wild west of this industry. And that's exactly why we don't recommend it. Hello, I'm Irena, Deputy Operations Manager here at Nomad Capitalist, where we help people to go where they're treated best. So the main reason why we do not recommend Vanuatu Citizenship that much is because they're often trying to increase the appeal and keep the program floating somehow, but I wouldn't say that it's that much successful. So Vanuatu government is working very closely with the EU for the option to keep the visa-free travel to the EU for Vanuatu citizens. So what happened there? Because of the very weak due diligence process in Vanuatu and, well, the record of just approving everyone, whoever applies, the EU has declared that they will cancel the EU visa-free travel to Vanuatu citizens. And not just Vanuatu citizens who got their citizenship by Citizenship Investment Program, but all of them, even the ones who were born there, naturalized, or have their citizenship by descent. Now, this is currently happening. So currently, Vanuatu citizens do not have a visa-free travel to the EU. However, the European Union has declared a new deadline for Vanuatu until 3rd of August 2024, well, to just improve the due diligence process. And if it is done by that point, then the EU visa-free access to for Vanuatu citizens will be back in place. Now, this is actually the first time that EU is doing something like this. So they're usually put the pressure on the program that they do not feel like it's very good, such as, for example, what they did to Cyprus or that what they're currently doing to Malta and Portugal. Of course, it's just a pressure on them to improve their due diligence process and just not to approve every single applicant who ever applies there. But this is actually the first time that they canceled it. So I wouldn't say that it's canceled. Of course, we're hoping that for until the 3rd of August 2024, Vanuatu will improve the due diligence process and that the visa-free access to the EU will be again in place. But it's still the first time that the EU is actually doing something and not just keeping a pressure and, well, just complaining about the program that exists. Again, the change that happened when it comes to the EU is because, again, very poor due diligence process the Vanuatu Citizenship Investment Unit has and the overall government. I think that it has a very bad record of the people applying and the people who got approved for their citizenship. So, for example, Vanuatu is, I think, the only country in the world that doesn't have an issue. If you ever applied, for example, for St. Kitts passport, got declined, got rejected because of something that they found in the due diligence process, you can easily apply for Vanuatu and still get approved. That's usually a red flag, and that's exactly why we do not recommend it. So Vanuatu citizenship is very known as a bought passport, and it doesn't have a very good reputation worldwide, and especially in this industry. So given the obstacles that Vanuatu Citizenship Investment Unit is currently facing, they have another option for investment and how you can get their citizenship, and that is through government bonds. So previously, the donation amount was to donate to the fund $130,000 for the main applicant, which is relatively cheap, $180,000 for a family of 4, and everything above that, $15,000 for each dependent. Now, the new option for the government bonds, relatively new, is as follows. So for bonds maturing in 24 months, then the investment amount is $120,000. For the bonds maturing in 30 months, the investment amount is $113,000. And for the bonds maturing in 36 months, the investment amount is $100,000. This is relatively cheap. And that's why people do think, well, this is one of the cheapest options, so why don't I just get the Vanuatu citizenship? It's probably zero chance of being rejected. But again, that's a red flag, and that is why we do not recommend it. So given all of these facts, would we still consider and recommend getting a Vanuatu citizenship? I would say that my answer is definitely no. Again, it's considered a bought passport. It's a wild west of this industry. It doesn't have a very good reputation. And maybe starting from 3rd of August 2024, in case that the due diligence is improved and that the EU visa-free access is again in place, then it may be a good option. However, as of now, I wouldn't say that it is. So I really hope that you found this information useful. I think that the professional opinion is always the best one to get if you want to proceed with getting a second passport or second residency or anything like that. If you have this in mind and you watch this video and realize, well, Vanuatu might not be the best option, really get in touch with us and we can hear your wishes, we can hear your goals and find the best suitable solution that would fit all of that.